And gentlemen, you recall that in programs of my administration's effort to transform our economy, the 2012 budget was established on 4 main pillars: macroeconomic stability, structural reforms, governance and institutions, and investing in priority sectors. The 2013 budget promotes continuity of these pillars and is designed with the theme fiscal consolidation with inclusive growth. We will remain prudent with our fiscal resources, but also ensure that the Nigerian economy keeps growing and creating jobs. To this end, the government will continue with the medium-term interventions that are consistent with the objectives of the transformation agenda. Macroeconomic stability. One key plan upon which our economic transformation is based is the achievement of macroeconomic stability. My administration has made significant progress in putting the finances of the nation on a sound footing and laying the foundation for rapid and sustainable growth. We will stay focused on maintaining macroeconomic stability in our country. Budget structure. Now, let me turn to the structure of the 2013 budget. In recent years, required expenditure has tended to crowd out capital expenditure in the national budget. Over the 2013 to 2015 medium term, my administration will continue to implement measures aimed at correcting this imbalance in the budget structure in a viable and sustainable manner. In the 2012 budget speech, I noted that government was going to focus on cutting required expenditure to a sustainable level through reduction of waste, corruption, and duplication in functions of government agencies. In this respect, the biometric verification of employees is being extended to all agencies of government, while the process for rationalizing public agencies and reducing duplication of money among different government agencies has begun. Following the report of the Foreign Committee, I am therefore pleased to announce that the share of recurrent expenditure in aggregate expenditure is set to further reduce from 71.47% in 2012 to 68.7% in the 2013 budget, while capital expenditure as a share of aggregate spending is set to increase from 28.3% in 2012 to 31.3% in 2013. Public debt management. Government will continue to exercise fiscal prudence and limit its borrowing requirements in compliance with the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007. Consequently, we have developed a responsive domestic debt management strategy that, for the first time, seeks to start paying off our domestic debt rather than rolling it over. In this respect, a seeking fund of 100 billion naira is being established in the 2013 fiscal year to be used for repaying government's maturing debt obligations and to curb the rising domestic debt profile. We have further reduced our annual domestic borrowing from 852 billion in 2011, 744 billion in 2012, to 727 billion in 2013. The 2013 budget. The 2013 budget is underpinned by the following parameters, which reflects government's prudent economic policies in an uncertain global economic environment. Oil production of 2.53 million barrels per day, up from 2.48 million barrels per day in 2012. Benchmark oil price of $75 per barrel, a modest increase from the $72 per barrel approved in the 2012 budget. This benchmark price is based on a well-established econometric methodology of estimating oil price moving averages. Projected GDP growth rate, which is now estimated at 6.5% compared to 6.85% in the fiscal stability paper. The revision is underpinned by the fact that the severe floods experienced over large parts of the country are expected to impact on economic activity in 2013, especially agriculture. However, the growth prospects may improve with the plan to boost dry season farming revenue. Based on this assumption, the gross federally collectible revenue is projected at 10.84 trillion naira, of which the total revenue available for the federal government budget is forecast at 3.89 trillion naira, representing an increase of about 9% over the estimate for 2012. Non-oil revenue is projected to continue to grow in 2013 as ongoing reform in our revenue collecting agencies and implementation of initiatives to further develop the non-oil sector continue to yield results. Expenditure proposal. An aggregate expenditure of 4.9 trillion naira is proposed for the main budget of the 2013 fiscal year, representing a modest increase of about 5% over the 4.7 trillion naira appropriated for 2012. This is made up of 380.02 billion naira for statutory transfers, 591.76 billion naira for debt service, 2.41 trillion naira for recurrent non-debt expenditure, and 1.54 trillion naira capital expenditure. Based on the above, the fiscal deficit is projected to improve to about 2.17% of GDP in the 2013 budget compared to 2.85% in 2012. This is well within the threshold stipulated in the Fiscal Responsibility Act 2007 and clearly highlights our commitment to fiscal prudence. We are starting to further rein in domestic borrowing, and this will ensure that our debt stock remains at a sustainable level. Our focus on critical economic and social sectors continues. Some of these sectors are largely driven by the private sector, while others require a great deal of public sector support. Some key allocations are as follows. Work, 183.5 billion naira. Power, 74.26 billion naira. Education, 426.53 billion naira. Health, 279.23 billion naira. Defense, 348.91 billion naira. Police, 319.65 billion naira. And agriculture and rural development, 81.41 billion naira. The power and gas sectors require a lot of investment to sustain our supply improvement. We shall therefore complement available resources with a proposed infrastructure Eurobond of about $1 billion in order to complete gas pipelines and other infrastructure investments. We have also programmed other grants and software critical to infrastructure and other sectors in our medium-term external borrowing plan. The short period will continue with the expected resources of 180 billion naira in 2013, augmented by the projected 2012 unspent balances, bringing the total to about 273.5 billion naira. We hope to make further progress in the program, providing additional infrastructure investment and social safety net schemes for Nigerians. I am pleased to also lay before this esteemed assembly the 2013 budget for the share projects. Fiscal policy. To promote Nigerian agriculture and industry, we will continue to implement supportive fiscal measures for some priority areas. You will recall that in my 2012 budget speech, I announced fiscal measures on rice, cassava, wheat, and machinery for the agriculture and power sectors. In this regard, I am pleased to announce the following additional measures which will be effective from 1st January 2013. Sugar. Machinery and spare parts imported for local sugar manufacturing industries will now attract 0% duty. There will also be a 5-year tax holiday for sugarcane to sugar value chain investors. Furthermore, import duty and levy on raw sugar will be 10% and 50% respectively, while refined sugar will attract 20% duty and 60% levy. Rice, a 10% import duty and 100% levy will be applied to both brown and polished rice. Aircraft. All commercial aircraft and aircraft spare parts imported for use in Nigeria will now attract 0% duty and 0% VAT. This will appreciably improve safety in our skies as newer fleets and less onerous maintenance will prevail. Solid minerals. Machinery and equipment imported for use in the solid mineral sector will now attract 0% import duty and 0% VAT and public mass transit. In order to encourage the production of mass transit vehicles in Nigeria, duty on completely knocked down components, CKD, for mass transit buses of at least 40-seater capacity will now be 0%, down from 5%. Government is desirous of supporting green growth. And in this regard, will explore options for providing incentives for energy-efficient vehicles from the 2014 fiscal year. Gender empowerment. This administration is gender-friendly and has worked to improve the position of women in society and empower them economically. Nevertheless, to further integrate women in the various sectors, we have developed an innovative approach to mainstreaming gender issues, starting with 5 private ministries: agriculture, health, communication technology, water resources, and work. These ministries are signing MOUs with the Ministry of Women Affairs to deliver on specific services for women. This includes the Ministry of Agriculture, for example, will work with the Ministry of Communication Technology to ensure that 5 million women farmers and agricultural entrepreneurs receive mobile phones to be able to access information on agro-inputs through an electronic wallet scheme. The Ministry of Health, in addition to scaling up, its ongoing Save a Million Lives initiative, plans to give back health and hope to 1/3 of the pool of young girls and women who have been waiting for a very long time for VVS repair through surgery and economic rehabilitation. In addition, we are upscaling routine immunization. For 2013, the Ministry of Work are employed in public works programs and contractors, workers, and project evaluators. Setting itself a target of 35% for women. Primary rehabilitation work. This is the budget of every Nigerian. It belongs to the farmer. This is the budget for the men. It belongs to the farmer, the investor, the entrepreneur, the youth, and the elderly. Yes, we have challenges, but also incredible opportunities. Ours is the task of transforming these opportunities into real, tangible outcomes, which all our people can experience and call their own. We need the cooperation of everyone to make it work, to grow the economy, and to create jobs for our people. I continue to call on all Nigerians to act. Making Nigeria work begins with you and me. Finally, I must reiterate my appreciation of the contributions and cooperation of the legislature in discharging our collective responsibility to build the nation of our dreams. I look forward to an expeditious consideration and passage of this proposal as we strive to guarantee positive socio-economic transformation for the benefit of our people. May God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I thank you.
Senators and honorable members, I now invite the Right Honorable Speaker to give a vote of thanks on our behalf. The Right Honorable of the Nigerian Armed Forces, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, GDFR, Your Excellency, Mr. Vice President, Architect Mohammed Namadi Sambo, GTON, Your Excellency, the President of the Senate and Chairman of the National Assembly, Senator, retired General David Mark, the National Chairman of the PDP and the members of the The principal officers of the National Assembly, distinguished senators, honorable members of the House of Representatives, members of the Federal Executive Council, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, the Head of Service, the Clerk to the National Assembly, the DCNA, the Clerks of the two chambers, gentlemen of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, I wish to most sincerely thank you, Mr. President, sir, for making time to come to this House chambers and formally undertaking this very important constitutional responsibility of laying off the year 2013 budget efforts. The House of Representatives legislative agenda prescribes under its national economic and budgetary provisions that the draft budget should be submitted at least 3 months prior to the start of the fiscal year. Already there is a bill before the House for the amendment of Section 82 of the Constitution to conform with this. In this regard, the laying of the 2013 budget estimate by Mr. President to this joint sitting today reasonably meets these expectations. I would have been done with my vote of thanks at this point, except that the mention of certain salient points of critical importance to our collective resolve for good governance is compelling. Mr. President, sir, given that the 469 elected members of the National Assembly have closer interaction with the nooks and crannies of the nation, we are privileged to feel the people's pulse more intensely, and we feel safe on behalf and for the benefit and guidance of all the arms of government. Surely, Mr. President and his wife, being the elected officials on the other side, cannot be expected to be in 109 senatorial districts, what still 360 federal constituencies. Therefore, when we feel this pulse, we are duty bound to communicate to you. As I speak, interim field oversight reports from the House Committees on the 2012 budget implementation are clearly unimpressive, both in terms of releases as well as utilization, and this is a great challenge to all of us. It is important to state at this point the clear provisions of Section 8 of the Appropriation Act to the effect that approved budgeted funds shall be released to MDS as when due. However, this is sadly more observed, more in breach. The composition of the Public Procurement Council provided under the Public Procurement Act is very critical to budget implementation. The sanctity of excellent legislation and respect for the rule of law are critical hallmarks of true democracy. We therefore call on Mr. President to expeditiously constitute this council so as to free the Federal Executive Council from the burden of contract administration, so they can concentrate on the more top-line issues of their constitutional role and responsibilities. Incidentally, the present constitution of the Group Public Procurement has been identified as one of the bottlenecks to effective capital budget implementation. It will be recalled that the 2012 budget contained a deficit, and the main source of funding this deficit was domestic borrowing. Figures emanating from the Debt Management Office regarding domestic borrowing are however worrisome. At a whopping $33.6 billion, government appears to be monopolizing domestic borrowing to the unhealthy exclusion of the private sector. This is certainly a matter of great concern because global statistics on sustainable debt GDP ratio percentages cannot continue to be used as guides for an economy that is not keeping pace with global trends. In our efforts to address this concern, only yesterday, in passing the 2012-2015 2013-2015 medium-term expenditure framework, which is the basis for annual budget, the House resolved to raise the oil price benchmark from $75 per barrel to $80 per barrel. With the objective that the difference of $5 be channeled exclusively towards reducing the deficit in the budget, and consequently reducing domestic borrowing for same purpose by 66%. This will make available these loanable funds to our private sector, which will stimulate the economy and job creation for our teeming unemployed youth. The House of Representatives, however, observed two critical omissions on the MPA, namely that the revenue from gas, running into billions of dollars, is not reflected, and the external borrowing is similarly not reflected. Another source of concern for the legislature is the management of the excess crude revenues. Since 2010, the Appropriation Act has legislated that the excess crude component of the federation account be operated under separate records for purposes of transparency and accountability. Besides, Section 30 of the Fiscal Responsibility Act makes it mandatory for the Budget Office to submit budget implementation assessment reports to the National Assembly and the Fiscal Responsibility Commission on a quarterly basis, and to publish same on the Ministry of Finance website. The President may be unaware that the National Assembly is neither aware of evidence of implementation of this policy, along with the records of federal government portion of the excess crude funds, nor the quarterly implementation report as required under the two acts. Mr. President, we wish to give appropriate directives to ensure full and speedy compliance by relevant agencies. The trend of Nigeria's foreign reserve has taken an upward trajectory in recent months on the back of steady production levels and robust oil prices. The latest figure for the country's foreign reserve as of 4th of October 2012 stands at $41.48 billion, a 26-month high. Concerns are however being expressed regarding the management and accounting reportage of our foreign reserve as to whether the figures reported are cumulative accruing inflows only or are inclusive of interest accruing from the management process, or attributed to other sources of accretion. This matter becomes urgent, especially when accrued management fees thereof is not reflected in the medium-term expenditure framework. There must be transparency, accountability, and probity in the management of our resources generally. Given recent developments that indicate our exposure to unforeseen natural disasters, we certainly, for instance, cannot take the protection of our environment for granted any longer. Mr. President, on our part, we wish to promise any perfect and endless monitoring. It is important to remind ourselves that Nigerians would want to see proof of that as quickly as possible. They no longer care for what, they insist on action. It is necessary. It is necessary that ministries, departments, agencies, and all public functionaries concerned in the governance process are properly instructed on this fact, so that they may cease from considering beautiful excuses and explanations as achievements. It remains for me to state once again that the pace of governance must take cognizance of the fact that the nation is grossly in arrears of its developmental potential and expectations, and accordingly, the business as usual approach is totally unhelpful and unacceptable. In concluding this short word of thanks, Mr. President, mistakes are certainly hard, and as representatives of the people and advocates of the people, we know exactly how bad things are. We believe that this country can only benefit if we all work together to deliver our mandate. has no other motive than this. I'm compelled, however, to say that the National Assembly is becoming increasingly concerned about the disregard of the resolution and public comment by public functionaries of the respective House. Mr. President, I cite the Senate resolution on the Bureau of Public Enterprise, the House resolution on the state of the security of the nation, requesting Mr. President to visit and brief the House, the House approving the resolution on the Security and Exchange Commission, the concurrent resolution of the two chambers on Bakati, among others. This does not promote cordial relationships between the executive and legislature and consequently stability in the policy. We must therefore continue to work together to reduce this nation from the crisis of poverty and disease. The boundless growth of the nation's GDP must be reflected in the lives of everyone, not just a few people privileged to hold public office or those enjoying unfair public patronage. Mr. President, once again, thank you for this visit, and may the Almighty God grant you the wisdom of Solomon as you steer this delicate ship of state. Thank you very much.